All right, so we have for 8, the question says Mo and Larry, they each need to raise $200 to go on a trip with their school band. Now, Mo had $30 in savings, and he's earning $20 every week delivering papers. Larry has $60 in his savings, and he's earning $10 every week by doing some yard work. So for A says let's use a table to find the time in weeks when Mo and Larry will have the same amount of money in their savings account. So this is kind of having you do it two ways. If you notice with A says let's use a table to find out when they have the same amount of money. B says use a system. So you can do both ways, and both of them should give you the same answer, but I'll show you right now how we can attack this. So it says we want to make a table. So I'm going to go ahead and get my table going. You can copy that on your paper. And it says that we want to know the time in weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and label one of these columns as weeks, W for weeks. And then we're going to need to talk about Mo and Larry, right? So I'm going to go ahead and write a big M, capital M for Mo, and then a capital, who's the other guy? Larry. An L for Larry. So this is what our table looks like. A little different, right? It's not like a normal T chart, but we can definitely see that there. Now, we have our weeks, right? And we need to start with 0. Right? We got to start with week 0 because week 0 is our starting point, and it helps us see how much Mo and Larry had in their savings account initially, right? What did they start with their savings account? Well, when I read this, it says Mo has $30 in his savings account. So for week 0, Mo should have 30 there. Okay, Larry had $60 in his savings account. So for week 0 for Larry, I'm going to write a 60. Now our weeks are going to progress by ones, right? We start with week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. I'm going to week 6. We might have to go past week 6. I don't know. But that's how we're going to show that in our table. Now we know that Mo, he's earning $20 a week. $20 a week. So for week 1, how much money should he have? If he's earning $20 a week, I'm going to draw my little arrow. I know we're used to doing that way. I can write a little plus 20. So he's going from week 0 to week 1. He earns $20. Thank you, Daniel. He definitely is going to be now with week 1. He's going to have $50. Now Larry's saving a little less or earning a little less. For Larry over here, he's not adding $20 every week. He's only adding $10 each week. So Larry over here ends up at 70. Go ahead and start using this table. We know what the pattern is. Use it and start moving down it. And then stop when Mo and Larry both have the same amount of money. Okay? Let me know, what week do they have the same amount of money? So if we continue this pattern down, what week does Mo and Larry both have the same amount in their account? Let me know in the chat what you think. We want to continue that pattern as we move down. I got one person saying week 3. I got another person saying week 3. All right, I'll give you guys a chance to try it on your own. Another person coming through with week 3. I like it. Cool. All right, I'm going to just start to work this out. Hopefully you've done this. So if I keep adding 20 to 50 would make 70. Another 20 makes 90. Another 20 makes 110. Another 20 makes 130. And another 20 makes 150. Now, I don't know if we have to go all the way to week 6, because it seems like you guys think that we only need to go to week 3. So I'm continuing it past, but we might not even need to go that far. All right, I'm adding $10. This side will be easier because I just have to keep going up by $10 each time. And I think, right, we see it, hopefully we see it there, that definitely in week 3 here, that is when Mo and Larry both have the same amount of money. Okay, week 3. Okay, yeah, not week 4. Yeah, week 3. It's all good. Cool, really, really good, guys. So for A, go ahead and write that down. How long will each boy have to work? Sorry. When will they have the same amount of money? Well, when will they have the same amount of money? That's in week 3. So that's what we want to write there for A. For A, we want to say they will have the same amount of money in 3 weeks. Now, there is another question there, and the other question says, how long will each boy have to work to have enough money for the trip? Remember, the trip cost $200 for them to go on this trip. It cost them $200. Now, look at over here. I stopped at week 6, right? I stopped over here at week 6, but at week 6, they still don't have enough money, either of those two people, okay? So go ahead on your paper. You can continue this table. You're going to have to continue it down. Keep adding weeks. Go to week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, however much you need. And you need to figure out how many weeks does it take for Mo to get to 200? How many weeks does it take for Larry to get to $200? Give you about a minute to finish that table out. And then I want to try B, because B is really the problem I want to try. And that is using a system of equations to solve. So how long is it going to take Mo and Larry to each get up to $200? So I'm going to go ahead and work out Mo's here. He keeps growing by $20. So it looks like after about week 9, right? After week 9, Mo has hit $210. So somewhere between week 8 and week 9, that's when Mo earns enough for the trip. For Larry, I think it's going to take him a little longer because dude's only making $10 was it a week? Yeah, a week. And so look at, I have to scroll way down here to continue this table here. But he finally gets down to 200 all the way over here. So let me extend these so we can see. And it looks like for Larry, it's going to take Larry about 14 weeks to get to $200. I would rather be in Mo's shoe. Mo only had to work 9 weeks. Larry's got to put in 5 extra weeks and get to week 14. Okay, so are there any questions with this table? How I came up with it, how to use it? Any questions at all? So I'm seeing no questions. So I'd like to do then is I'd like to go to part B. And B says let's use a system of equations to solve this. Okay, that's more like what you're going to see on your final. Systems of equations is what we use to solve. Only because this problem worked, but we only had to go to week 14 with our table. Imagine if I said, how much does Larry and Mo make after week 100? I don't think anybody here wants to sit out and write out that whole table, right? That's very tedious and long and just too much work for us to do. That's why we want to use a system of equations. So for a system of equations, the first thing we have to do is we have to write out our let statements. So this is for part B here. This is part B. So we need to do our let statements. Now, over here, you'll notice that I did already have a variable that we were using. We were using W. So I'm going to let W equal the number of weeks. That's one variable that we need. What should the other variable be? What do you think the other variable should be? What do we need to represent in this problem? What do we think? Any guesses on what should be in this? Oh, I just realized I'm showing 9. Ooh, Hannah, I really like that. So Hannah said T for the total amount saved. Hannah, I think that's a great variable we could use. So I'll write that out. Total amount saved, right? We're trying to deal with that. Sometimes students just say M for money. You could write M for money. You could write S for savings. You could do A for account. Honestly, it doesn't matter what your other variable is, just as long as you recognize these are the things that are changing, right? The weeks are changing every week, the week changes. And then the money is growing, right? So that's how we want to show that. So now we need to come up with an equation for our friend Mo. Now, for Mo, I'll start you guys off. We're trying to figure out the equation of his savings account. We want to know how much is he saving. So we're going to have T equals. How much does Mo start off with? How much money is he starting off with in week 0? Yeah, thank you. He starts off with $30. So I'm going to write here that T equals $30. And then how is it changing? Is he gaining money every week or is he losing money every week? All right, I'm looking back at the question and it says that he's earning $20 a week. So if he's earning money, I think this should be a plus, right? Because he's not spending it. He's not subtracting money. He's gaining money to that 30, and he's gaining $20 a week. So I should write that out then as plus $20 a week. That is our equation for Mo. T equals $30 plus $20 a week. We now have to figure out Larry's equation. Take a second, try it out. I'll give you another hint. It's going to start off with T equals, but try it on your own. Try to remember, how much did Larry start off with? How much is he earning every week? And go ahead and write that out in chat so I can see what his equation will be. And if you want, you can only just write the expression on the right if you just want to write that part. If you want to write the T equals, you can. But I'm interested in that part on the right there. Just take some time, think about it. Got one guess coming through, 2 guesses coming through, and they match. So that might be a good sign. A 3rd answer came in and it matches as well. All right, I think we're getting there. So Larry, I'll scroll up here so we can reread that question. Larry has $60 in his savings account. 4 answers were in and they all match. So he starts off with $60 and he's earning $10 a week. So same idea here for Larry as it was with Mo. It's going to be 60. He starts with $60. He earns $10 a week. So that is our equation for Larry. T equals 60 plus 10W. My next question is, we want to solve this. What method should I use? Is this an equal values, substitution, or an elimination method? What do we think we should use to solve this problem here? What do we think? They both start with T equals. Yeah, I think this is definitely an equal values problem. This is an equal values problem. I'll go ahead and write it out right here. Whoops, I can't spell today. This is equal values because they both start with T equals. They're both equal to the same thing. Since they're equal to the same thing, when we use our equal values method, we just take this part over here, 30 plus 20W, and we set that equal to the other part, 60 plus 10W. Now we can solve this and figure out when they have the same amount of money. Now we already know when they have the same amount of money. We checked that with our table. Remember, we knew week 3, they both had $90. But this is the way to solve it if you don't want to use a table. Okay? So I'll walk us through how to do this one. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 10W over to the left side. I'm doing that so that 10W over there gets moved over to that left side. And I'm left with 30 plus, 20W minus 10Ws. That would make 10W. Daniel, if you're done, go ahead and let me know in chat what you got. Bring down the 60, and those became a 0. So what should be my next step? Daniel. It's all good. So what should be my next step here? Yeah, I'm seeing other people are getting the answers. So I have subtracted that 10W, right? I took it from the right side, moved it over to the left. Next step, I want to take that 30. I want to move that over to the right side. So now I'm going to subtract 30 on both sides. The 30's 0 out on that left side. So I'm just left with 10W equals 60 minus 30. That is just 30. Last step here, we just need to divide both sides by 10. And W equals 3. Again, that tells us that on week 3, they have the same amount of money. Again, we knew that from the table. The table showed us that. But this is an example of using a table and a system. Both methods there will give you the answer, right? We saw in our table, week 3, they both had $90. But if we make our system of equations, which isn't too difficult, right? You have to make the equations, but once you have them, set them equal to each other, solve, we find out that it's still going to be week 3, okay? I'm very happy you guys asked me to go over that problem. It's a good problem. I'll give you a little hint. There's a problem like this on your final. So as long as you can kind of do this work here on the left side, figure out your variables, make your equations, then you can solve the answer. And so if you struggle with that, I would say you definitely want to check out number 9 then, right? Number 9 is very, very similar. It's a similar situation, but the numbers are different. Someone is saving money, someone is spending money. So you want to definitely check and see how well you can do with 9, okay? Any questions with this problem before we move on to another concept? Because I don't want to spend the entire review class today on systems, but I do want to check real quick, are there any questions with any step that I did along the way?